The Kingdom is an upcoming open world metaverse focusing on cultural-led experiences. So you can explore immersive cities, you can embark on missions and quests, you can dress up in NFT as well, create your own world in the Kingdom. And with me is Josh Kovac, the Chief Strategy Officer, to explain what the Kingdom is and just kind of tell us a little bit about your thoughts about the metaverse as well, because we've been hearing so much. So let's just start with what is the Kingdom?
Well, thank you for having me, Jane. Pleasure to be on here today. So the Kingdom, as you said, is an upcoming open world metaverse that focuses on culture-led experiences. So users can explore, they can play a variety of different play-to-earn games, dress their NFT avatars up to represent their identity within this virtual world, and create their own worlds or their own ecosystems within the larger Kingdom metaverse. The metaverse itself will be able to host different projects in this ecosystem, which gives players the ability to interact with the metaverse using their existing NFT assets, or even if they want to just come in brand new and discover it for the first time. And as well as that, the metaverse will combine elements of NFTs, GameFi, tokenomics, and we want the players to have complete freedom to choose how they experience this metaverse.
Okay.
Whether it's content creation, and as we said, embarking on quests, user-generated quests as well, or simply just exploring the scenery. Players have complete freedom to choose what they want to do in this space.
So is that what makes it kind of unique, is how interactive it is and how much the user can kind of determine how things play out in the metaverse with Kingdom?
Yeah, I do think it's one of our major selling points, but I wouldn't say that's the limit of what makes us unique. So a lot of metaverse projects out there, they're sort of in their own world, so to speak. And that's in no way a knock on them. They're fantastic projects with their own dedicated communities. But we see ourselves as being a very interoperable space, which means we want different projects from different blockchains to be able to come into our metaverse and users to port their existing assets and join us. So that's one of our big selling points. One of the things that makes us very unique is our cross-chain capabilities. We're not just confined to, say, the Ethereum blockchain or Solana blockchain. We are on multiple different multiple different blockchains, and I think we're one of the first, if not the first, to really try to attempt this way of approaching virtual spaces.
Yeah. I was going to say, I really haven't heard that before, like the cross-chain.
Cross-chain, yeah, because I think the way we see it is this sector, this industry, it's still relatively new, and one of the big selling points of Web3 has always been to be decentralized and for people to have freedom or the opportunity to choose how they want to interact with this space. Again, whether that's gaming, whether they're trying to make some money of play-to-earn games, it doesn't really matter. What matters to us is that we give these users the opportunity to really interact with different blockchains. And in doing so, I think the opportunity is really boundless.
Yeah. Well, and I guess maybe the technology would be kind of invisible to the user, right? They would just be able to put on a headset, right?
Yeah.
And so explain how does it work? Like, is it an app that I would download on my virtual reality headset and then I could enter the Kingdom that way?
Well, VR is definitely one of the avenues that we're looking to explore. But how we're developing it right now, it will be like a traditional sort of game setting where you enter from you enter it and you have an avatar and you explore it that way. And as regards to your question about the blockchain technology, that will be behind the scenes, of course. Users won't need to worry about that. That's all done by the technical team. But what we ensure our future users is that it'll be a very smooth, very immersive it'll be very smooth and immersive for them to enter our metaverse. And yeah, that's really it. But interesting you mentioned VR, because that is something that the current metaverses are all leaning towards, and that is something down the line we will also develop. I think it's the next step. It's great to be in these virtual spaces with an avatar from a third-person view or first-person view, but to really have a headset on and feel like you're in there, well, it's almost weirdly nostalgic for me in a way, because that's the movies I grew up on. And now to be able to develop something like that is
like Ready Player One or something like that.
Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the example everyone brings up, and it's a fantastic example. But it would be really cool if we could move towards that sort of level of technology. And yeah, I mean, the future is who knows? But that is definitely something that we're really looking at.
Now you just got what, about 3.6 million in funding or from investment. So
Yeah.
what? Explain that to me. What will you use that money for?
Yeah. So as we were the inception of this project, we got quite a few institutions reaching out to us and talking to us about, you know, our vision, our mission, what we plan for the future, and we showed them what we were doing and what we wanted to do, and you know, we're very grateful. We had a great response. So our recent funding round of 3.6 million came about, and how that to answer your question, how that impacts the expansion. Well, the first, it is quite a obvious, boring answer, but we're obviously expanding the team, hiring more on the design side and the technical side to really develop the best product that we can. I know it's pretty cliche maybe, but it's really when you get into the work that you realize the sheer scale of undertaking this project to make sure everything is flawless for user experience. It's mind-boggling. So we're expanding the team with some very, very talented computer engineers, designers from all parts of the world, which is very important to us because one of our visions is that we have a global project and we have all these different perspectives that build this metaverse, the kingdom, together. So that would be the short answer. Is right now we're expanding the team, looking for more talent, and we're also doing a lot more outreach because I think in this sector, lots of projects, it's sink or swim based on how well known they are, their name brand, and it's really important to get our name out there. So we predominantly, we are an Asian-based project, but that is in no way the limit of our ambitions. We want to be a real global project because the point of the metaverse is there are no physical limits. So we want people from all over the world to come contribute to this world and really build it together and make it as diverse as we can.
Yeah. And just talk to me a little bit about the metaverse in general. I mean, it's, Facebook changes their name to Meta. I mean, it feels like we're headed there. Big brands are exploring the metaverse. Where do you see the metaverse going?
Well, I think, like you said, just these huge brands taking interest in this sector just says all that has to be said, really. But where I see it personally is I think this technology really does have the chance to change a lot of things that that maybe, as you know, generally we've seen set in stone. So for one example I could mention is the future of work. The pandemic, with all the effects that it had, right? People were staying at home and working, and Metaverse is a great social hub, a digital world where people can interact, they can work, they can play, or they can just explore. And that's one facet that I think is really exciting, that technology has taken over our lives so much that now it's not, we can actually go into virtual worlds, and how we interact with other people. I think the future is in these virtual spaces rather than always having to be in the physical world. Yeah. And it really it's great because also other things like virtual economies, the amount of revenue that some of these projects are generating is insane. Frankly, it's crazy.
I know.
And, yeah,
it is. It's hard to believe, like some of the projects, but there's really all this unexplored real estate, so to speak, virtual real estate in the metaverse. Yeah.
So that's a great point as well. So projects like Decentraland, like Sandbox, they have these fantastic, I'd say, metaverses, but really it's plots of land that are being sold at at prices that are more expensive than houses in the real world. So but that is a tremendous opportunity. We're still so young in this sector that all these sort of outliers, these unicorn projects, I think that's where the future will be. It will be virtual worlds taking a large part of our lives up, because it's great. We can do things, we can see things that we don't actually have to leave the comfort of our own homes, and lots of people like that, and it is a great thing to have, I think.
Yeah, no, it can really. I did a virtual reality tour of an art gallery, an art museum in Europe, like when I was in New York, and so I really do. Yeah, I think it can really kind of expand your horizons if you can't make it somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating.
I think that's actually a great example. So things like art, like I love art. I'm keenly aware that in the cities I've lived in, I've been blessed enough to have access to galleries and museums. And it's always something like, it was an afterthought for me. It's like, today I want to go to this museum, for example. It's easy. I take a train, I take a car, I'm there. But lots of people in the world don't have that privilege, whether it's, a geographical thing or if it's too expensive in their part of the world. And this really can sort of tip the scales a bit. It's a democratization of opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
no, I
people
think you're
all
right.
over the world they can see things that they might not have the means to see. And I think we're so early as a sector, but that is something that really excites me, that
Yeah.
opportunity for people that otherwise would not have any chance.
Yeah. Well, it's all very interesting where we're going and how it's going to look in 10 years. So thank you.
In 10 years, I'd say in 5 years, honestly,
in 5
we
years.
probably wouldn't recognize.
Well, and when you think about it, like, we really didn't talk much about the metaverse even a year ago. And now,
No.
So it's moving quickly.
Yeah. And that's a great point. I think so. Things like, blockchain technology, Bitcoin, it's been around, but it's only really captured the imagination of the public, I'd say maybe the past 3 to 4 years. With the advent of cryptocurrencies as like day trading, with NFT projects sprouting about, and now it's the metaverse. So it's such a compressed time frame, and I think we've seen all this development in these short few years, and it's not going away. It's just going to grow and grow and grow. So I think the future is really exciting for this sector, and I really can't wait to see what we develop, but also what other people in this space develop, because I think Web3 is all about collaboration, and we're in a good spot to collaborate with all these fantastic brands and really bring the best product we can to our users.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Josh, for coming, explaining the kingdom and chatting about the metaverse. It's very interesting.
Thank you, Jane, for having me. It was great to talk to you.